Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Curve, presented by T-Mobile, where we bring you the latest news on Grandmasters on Curve. The playoff weekend saw the highest stakes matches for our Grandmasters yet, whether it was fighting for their tournament lives in the relegation matches or making that final push for a World Championship spot. In the Asia Pacific region, top 4 consisted of Surrender, Tom, Chonsu and newcomer Bank Yugi after they took wins in their group earlier in the weekend. Match 1 of Surrender versus Tom ended in a decisive victory for the former world champ as Tom went 3-0 to take a spot in the finals. Meanwhile, Bank Yugi put his lineup to the test once again against Chonsu, and although taking a loss in game number 1, he did manage to recover, winning the next 3 and placing himself in the finals to face Tom. It was a David vs Goliath finals as former world champion and veteran of the game Tom 60229 looked to ensure another chance at the World Championship title, while Bank Yugi, newcomer to Grandmasters and relatively unknown player up until this point, had everything to prove. It was a back and forth series that went all the way to game number 5, ending in an uncontrollable mage mirror in which Bank Yugi ended up victorious, joining Glory as the representatives from the Asia Pacific region this year. Over in Europe, we had Tice, Psycho, Casey and Yala make it through to the final 4. Even though Tice had to submit the same lineup he had the previous week due to illness, he still managed the huge effort of not only getting through his group, but taking down Casey in the first semi-final match. The second semi-final of the day was one of the most incredible and endurance-testing matches of Hearthstone we may have ever had, with Yala's anti-bomb warrior lineup going up against Psycho's anti-weapon tech decks. If you have a couple of hours spare, I can't recommend enough watching this match as Yala took Psycho apart in some incredibly complex late-game scenarios. This ended up with Yala and Tice facing off in the finals, and we saw Yala's lineup pay off once again, as the inability for Tice to get a win with his warrior ultimately led to his defeat and Yala taking top spot and a place at Worlds. The Americas region saw Muzzy, Killing All Day, ETC and Monsanto make it through their groups and to the final day of playoffs. Although an extremely close series, it was ETC who just managed to take a win over Muzzy with a 3-2 score, ending with ETC marching to victory with Shambhala and his army of elementals closing out the game in quick fashion. Next up, we had Monsanto taking on Killing All Day in yet another 3-2 match. It did look like we were on for a reverse sweep as Killing managed to fight back against Monsanto's 2-game lead, taking the series all the way to the end. But it was Monsanto who ended up victorious, dominating with Demon Hunter in game number 5. This led to a Monsanto vs ETC finals, where again we saw our players take it all the way to game number 5. In the end, it was too strong an opening from Monsanto with the help of an early Mana Giant, which didn't allow ETC to get in the game at all. Monsanto took the win and the spot at the World Championship, joining Bloodyface from the Americas region. Of course, we did have to say farewell to Flurry, Warmer and Just Saying as our final relegation spots were filled. And although there is a chance that they can make it back sooner rather than later, with Masters Tour Madrid coming up soon, and it does still count for next season's promotions. That is going to be it from us on The Curve this week and this season, so we hope you enjoyed watching. Make sure to go to playhearthstone.com/esports to catch up on any information on matches you may have missed, or get hold of any of those deck lists you may have seen on Grandmasters throughout the season. But for now, thanks a lot again for watching, and we'll see you next time in the tavern.